Hey everybody, and welcome to the Google Plus Hangout for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. My name is Dave Carger. I'm the chief correspondent at Fandango. This is a very special event because this is the very first ever shoppable movie hangout on Google Plus, which means that while you're watching this hangout, you can actually buy tickets to The Amazing Spider-Man 2 on Fandango. You can also catch up with the first Amazing Spider-Man movie by buying it or renting it right there on the right side of your screen on Google Play if you're watching this on the Sony Google Plus page. And you can even buy the soundtrack to the movie while you're at it.
And you can buy my album, which is Intuition, right now. It came out a couple of years ago, but still, I went out and go get Intuition and the box set of Jamie.
In case you're wondering who these people are that are sitting with me, but you're probably not, let me introduce them. To my right, we have Marc Webb, the director of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Hi, Marc.
Virtual clap.
Marc Webb.
Marc Webb.
How's it going?
Marc Webb. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm really good.
Very happy to be here.
Nice to see you. Next to you, of course, Andrew Garfield.
Hello, everyone.
Spider-Man himself.
It's Andrew. It's Andrew here. Hi.
It's true.
Yes.
To my left, Emma Stone.
Hi. Hey, everybody. Hey, man.
And then the villainous side of the room.
Boo.
Jamie Foxx.
Yes. In the house.
How are you doing, Jamie?
Turned down for what? In the house like gravity, down like furniture.
And Dane DeHaan. Hi, Dane. Now, anyone who's watching, you can join in on the conversation on social media by asking questions to any of these people using the hashtag Spider-Man Hangout, and I, using this trusty device, will be asking some of your questions to these 5 illustrious people as we go on. We also have 4 lucky live participants from around the world, and I'm going to bring them in right now. First, we're all very excited about this. You've seen him on YouTube.
Yes.
You love him. Here he is, the one and only
Kid
President.
Spider-Man. 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 Spider-Man.
And also, that's
Turn down for what?
Brad. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, bro.
Turned down for what?
We're happy to see you guys.
We're really excited to see you, KP.
Thanks.
So excited.
We also,
Huge fan.
we also have the
Somebody turn
editor.
phone.
We have the editor of Unleash the Fanboy from Tucson. This is Harrison Rawdon. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, Harrison.
Hi, Harrison.
Hey guys,
Hey, bud.
Hey.
how's it
You've
going?
been unleashed now,
How
my
you
friend.
doing?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Also, we have a reporter from Kids First. He's 13 years old. His name is Kiefer. Hey, Kiefer.
Kiefer.
Hey,
Hello. Hey, Keith.
Major.
Great tie.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Gunfighter
good.
Black.
And finally, we have, as you'll be able to tell, a Spider-Man superfan from Manchester, United Kingdom,
Oh,
Josh
awesome.
Tynerstrom.
Yo.
Hey, Josh.
Hi.
Hi guys. Hi.
Is your head exploding right now?
It kinda does, yeah.
My head is exploding. This guy is all over the internet. He's amazing.
Really? You know who he is, Mark?
Oh, yeah. He did.
You know me?
Yeah, you didn't you make the video with all you accumulated all the people watching the trailer?
Yeah, I'm 7 webheads over YouTube.
Amazing.
Oh my god, somebody call the ambulance.
Well, we're going to get to the questions from the 4 of you in just a second, but first we have a couple questions off of social media from some Fandango fans. This is a question that actually came from 2 different people, Safa and Cleon, and it involves the 2 villains that are sitting here with me. How long did it take each of you, Jamie and Dane, to apply the Electro and Green Goblin costume and makeup that you had?
They did it to each other, which was
Who took longer?
I actually think we took like the exact same amount of time. It was just for different things. Like my makeup took 3.5 hours, but then to get into my suit was another hour because I had to be wrenched. Had to be wrenched. I had to be put into my suit with tools. Wrenched and wetched.
Did it hurt?
Well, no, I mean, it's heavy, but it's also totally worth it and cool. But you took 4.5 hours,
I took
too,
4.5
right?
hours first, and then when it was just, all body, but then when I got the suit, it was like 1.5 hours, 2 hours. And but it was cool. It was like being dipped in blue candle wax.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, but in certain settings, candle wax is not for the children.
Kid President.
Kid President. As you get older, you'll understand.
No.
Mark,
come on,
were you surprised at how long these processes were?
No, I think we had a really great makeup team that were very as efficient as it got, but we had anticipated that, so it wasn't that big of a surprise.
Okay.
All of them had augmented versions of themselves too, and applied more CG later on. That was the
Kid President
I
has some
love.
coffee.
There's dancing going on. One more question before we get to Kid President. You just hang on. It's so close. Here's a question from Bailey. What was the funniest thing that happened on set?
The funniest thing? That's probably what's happening right now with KP. What was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the funny stuff? What was funny? What was funny?
Lots of funny things. I think lots of funny things can happen when you're filming on a green screen and you're coming up with the world around you. There were some things that we had to imagine. I remember we could not stop laughing one day because Electro had cut some power lines to the city, and we were standing on a spire of a broken bridge looking out, saying, "Electro's cut the power lines to the whole city." In this big studio, and Mark's sitting down there like. And we are laughing
He
so
fried my
much.
shooters.
It was great. He fried my shooters.
Exposition.
Yeah.
scene.
It was so good.
The finished product looks pretty darn good.
Thank you.
All right, so Kid President, it is time. I want to know what you want to ask the cast and crew of Spider-Man.
Hi, Kid President. I've missed you very much.
Uh-huh.
She just said hi to you.
Hi.
Hi.
I still lost my fear of talking to girls on the computer and the phone.
You said what?
You still have your fear of that?
Yeah, that's my fear.
Yeah, but we've met in person twice.
Yep.
At the Crudes, right?
Yeah, we met at the Crudes a couple times, so you shouldn't be nervous because we know each other now.
I have that same fear though.
But the fact that
You're
you're
not
open
scared
about it is
now,
amazing.
nice.
It's really charming.
No, I'm not scared now. But first question.
Yes.
Who are your heroes?
Who are your heroes?
I would say you were one of my heroes, Kid President. Seriously,
You're our hero, Kid President.
legitimately, because Spider-Man's all about positivity and awesomeness and love and being good to each other and protecting each other, and that's what you stand for. And you're waving that same flag that Spider-Man's waving, so you're an inspiration for me, my friend. Wave that flag, baby. Wave that flag.
My hero is Rick Ross. As you get older, you'll know who he is. Very philanthropic young man.
Dane?
Well, my main hero was always Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Nice.
Growing up, he's always the person that, when I saw him in the movie, hop out of that red convertible and Talented Mr. Ripley, I was like, that's different, and that's the kind of acting that I want to do.
Nice.
Emma?
My mom was my hero growing up. Always, she was pretty amazing and still is pretty amazing. So she's been my main life hero, I think.
You think she's watching right now? Does she know that this is happening?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that.
Mark?
Me? Oh, boof. I don't know. That's a many heroes. Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton.
I'm a
in terms of movie
bobblehead.
stuff. Yeah. Exactly. Bobblehead. Any bobblehead character is a hero of mine.
Turn it down for what?
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the question, Kid President. We're going to come back to you in a couple minutes. Now I want to go over to Harrison. Harrison, what's your question?
I think the first one I would really like to ask would be to Andrew. When approaching your second stint as Spidey, what were the biggest obstacles for reprising that role?
I obviously take the role really seriously. He was my hero growing up. He meant the world. He got me through primary school and got me through high school. I always kind of escaped into imagining being Spider-Man as I was growing up. So taking on the role at first was, of course, the huge responsibility of that. And then coming back into it, I really wanted to make sure, and me and Mark talked about this a lot, really wanted to make sure that we saw Peter really embracing his destiny, really embracing the fate that's been thrust upon him, and living Spider-Man as, I don't know, kind of a as fully and deeply as possible. So that was really exciting jumping into this. And also, like, you know, when you look at the comics, you see the physicality and the joy and how do you capture that in a movie. That was something that obviously Marc was really focused on as well. And also keeping the tension in Peter, keeping the struggle, the existential crisis that Peter is always going through, and upping that as much as possible, because he has to be going through so much goddamn stuff in order to justify the fantastic release he feels as Spider-Man. So yeah, that's a small answer, but we can talk at a later date in more detail. I'll write a book.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah.
I'll come
Thanks,
back to you in a
Harrison.
couple
Thanks,
minutes
bud.
too. All right, Kiefer from Kids First. What's your first question?
Well, my first question is for the performers. There have been many adaptations of most of your characters, whether it's comic book, movies, or television. What do you do as an actor to keep that character fresh and new?
Do you want you guys?
Who wants to grab that?
Well, I'll jump in. I think what's great about doing these types of movies is that although they're popcorn-friendly, big franchises, superhero films, the people that I'm sitting up here with are great actors and actresses. And so Marc was very helpful in making sure that we brought our acting chops. You know, he wouldn't let us off the hook when he felt like, you know, okay, you're either doing one or two things. You're saying the words, but you're not being the character. So, you know, he would make sure that we were, you know, definitely connecting to our characters. And, you know, watching Dane's first day when he comes on and see how dedicated he is to his character, and watching the chemistry between Andrew and Emma was amazing, because what's great about it for me is watching great actors and actresses do their thing and be compelling before the suits, before the CGI and all that is done. So keeping it fresh is coming into work every day, talking about the scene, because, you know, in these movies, if you do one or two little things, it will affect what's going on, you know, later on. So I think paying attention to detail like that as thespians allows the movie to, you know, come together in a great way.
Well, certainly there's some filmmakers who would say, oh, I don't want to take on a franchise that's been done at all recently. But
they want to do that. Yeah, it's true. I mean, but Spider-Man's a perennial character. You know, if you look at the comics, every month there's a new Spider-Man comic book. It wasn't really a conflict for me. I think there's so many stories to tell from that universe, and I just, you know, aside from the initial just fear and general reservations about taking on something this big, there's something really exciting and fun about this universe, and I was curious about it. I wanted to, just as a fan, to see what was going to happen. So,
anything to add on that?
In terms of making it fresh, I think if you're bringing yourself, if you're bringing your own personal form of creativity, your own soul, your own heart to it, and you're being led by that, not by what other people may think, or not by trying to do anything different to however someone did it before, but you're bringing your own instincts. That's in life, you know, that's in anything creative, whether it's painting a picture, writing a book, cooking a meal. If you're bringing your own personality and your own soul to it, then it's going to be unique automatically. And I think that's kind of the ultimate dream to do as an artist, is just to, you know, reveal your soul.
All right, thanks, Kiefer. We'll get back to you in a second.
Thank you.
Josh.
Thanks, Kiefer.
With the great collage, what's your first question?
My first question is to Marc Webb. Now, you've teased the Daily Bugle quite a lot in both the Amazing Spider-Man films, so when can we possibly expect to see J. Jonah Jameson himself?
Ooh, what a great question. I like the idea very much of him coming up in one of in the next film. It's really hard to introduce someone when it was more easy to accept a new Spider-Man than somebody who can outdo, you know, J.K. Simmons in that role. He is so iconic. It's really difficult. So that's something really we talked about, because I love that character. He poses such an interesting dilemma for Spider-Man. I'm dancing around your question really because the answer is I don't know. But probably I think you can expect to see that in the future. You want to see him, don't you?
I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Really? Okay.
I do too.
All right,
Noted.
thanks, Josh. All right, let me take a couple questions here from Google Plus, people piping in on social media. Dane, here's a question for you. The question goes like this: Green Goblin 2 / Harry Osborn versus Green Goblin 1 / Norman. Who is the badder supervillain?
Well, I might be biased
No.
in this answer.
But you're a huge Willem Dafoe fan.
I'm a huge Willem Dafoe fan. No, look, I think, I think that there's something very powerful about this Green Goblin, and I think that there's something. I mean, ultimately, it's the suit that makes him so powerful, and that's really exciting, and the technology that he has, and I think in a fight that I would have to. I'd have to say I'd come out on top.
I think you would too.
Gloves are off.
I'm younger.
No.
All right, Emma, here's
24/7.
one for you from Twitter. If you were a superhero, what would your suit be like, and what would you be called?
What would my suit be like?
It is about the suit. We just learned.
It's all about the suit. I would hope that I would have a suit that would be incredibly protective and help me fly. Basically, I would need the Batman suit. And what would I be called?
What about like a bubble? You'd
Yeah,
be,
I'd
in
love
a bubble with wings.
A giant plastic bubble that flies.
With wings.
And I don't have to. Yeah, it would be amazing.
And a motor, like a
Sounds
plane.
great. And I
You
should be
should
bubble
go
girl.
around in a plane.
Bubble girl.
Bubble girl.
Bubble gal.
Okay.
In my bubble.
I like this question that just came in on Twitter. So we're going to go down the line. Dane, I'm going to start with you. Describe the person to the right of you in 3 words.
Oh,
God.
3 words.
I hate this game. I hate this game.
Okay. Wow. Electrifying.
Oh, damn.
Fun.
Yes.
And life of the party.
Yes.
Ah,
Hyphenated.
Hyphenated.
Yes.
Jamie?
Beautiful.
Oh.
Stunning actress.
Ooh, that's
a
too
stunning
good.
actress.
That's a word.
Stunning actress.
Stunning
Stunning actress.
actress.
Stunning actress.
Ah, okay.
And how could I put comedic comedicness brilliant. Because I'm trying to figure out how to get her there. She's got this crazy, like, great funniness that you guys don't get a chance to hear all the time, but underneath is going on.
I like it.
Thanks, James.
Obviously, you're skipping me.
No,
so
this
when
is
it
about
says,
Dane.
I'm not skipping you. Handsome,
Oh, thank you.
charismatic,
Yeah.
and dynamic.
Oh,
Take it.
that means you're left with me.
Crew-cutted, surprisingly.
So specific.
Intense.
Yes.
Friendly.
Oh,
That's what I'll say.
very
Wow.
nice. Thank you.
Good one. Aww.
Sensitive,
Oh.
soulful,
Mm.
talented.
Oh.
You started to make me cry. I know you was.
Great now that you got.
And Dane, we're all gonna give.
We're all gonna give
That's
Dane
really
everything.
nice that you got
Ready,
to-
guys?
Ready?
All the same one.
Okay, here we go.
Incredible.
Funny, tasty,
Bad
Mo
Moco.
Pokey.
calm.
The next
Definitive.
Gorgeous.
Oh, thanks, you guys.
I like that. Thank you for
And
doing that,
special.
because that's good. It kind of brings it full circle. All right, Kid President, I really want to bring it right back to you right now.
Kid President still there?
But
Understandably.
There he is.
don't mute yourself.
Hey, KP.
Wait, there he is.
Turntable. Who is the dude with Kid President?
That's
His
It's
brother.
Brad.
That's
That's his big brother, Brad.
Wow, how great.
Okay, what's your next question, Kid President?
What's the best advice you ever received?
Ooh.
Who wants to take that?
Best advice.
The best advice I ever received, and this is actually going to be interesting with what happens in the movie, but was cross that bridge when you come to it. Don't put your umbrella up before it rains.
Yeah.
That is
What was that in
great
relation
advice.
to, the advice?
Yeah.
That's just, I don't be fatalistic. Don't jump to, the worst case scenario. Don't put your umbrella up before it rains.
Mine was playing football. We're playing in our homecoming, and my boy, God bless him, his name is Booney Dye. He said, "Stop panicking. It ain't nothing on the other side of fear." So that was my thing. No need to be scared.
I have one that's kind of like and it came from Alvin Sargent, who is a brilliant screenwriter who helped us out in the first movie a little bit. But he said, "Don't confuse anxiety for danger," which I really like that idea.
Yeah.
That you get sort of fearful, and then when you think about how that lines up, it may not be that bad, like something's like, and that's something that keeps coming up in my life, and I think it's a really important thing that
for sure
that is important to understand.
And courage is not living without fear, but living with fear and then moving forward anyway.
Yeah,
I like that.
And as I got older, tip your waitresses was like.
That's good advice.
That's a really good one. What about you, Dane?
Dane?
Gosh. Well, maybe like don't be afraid to like take leaps and jump off cliffs and trust that there'll be something at the bottom that'll catch you.
That's metaphorical, right?
Yes, it's a metaphor.
Thank you for that clarification.
Actually, be afraid to actually jump off actual.
Thank you, Mr. President.
He's a bobblehead.
All right, Harrison.
Thank you, bobblehead.
Harrison in Tucson.
Can I get some of what Kid President?
What's your next question?
I think the next question I would love to ask is for Jamie. Can you speak to specific influences that formed your version of Max Dillon and his alter ego Electro?
To be honest with you, Max Dillon comes from a friend. I won't say his name, God bless him, but he used to live with his mom. He was like in his 30s, 40s, and he was just sort of a mama's boy, very quiet, kept to himself, very smart. So when Marc and I got together, we thought about, crafting sort of that persona of sort of this nerd guy who, just lives in the shadows. And then when it came to Electro, it was watching all the badasses on TV, watching Clint Eastwood, watching even Alec Baldwin, even where he delivers lines, and then watching our favorite Amadeus. Was it Salieri?
Salieri.
Yeah, watching how Salieri was jealous and coveted Mozart. It's this little monkey. That performance I thought was just great. He,
Who came up with the comb over? That was quite a comb over.
That was all Jamie.
Yeah, I came up with the comb because I was talking to my sister. I said I want to be the first black guy with a comb over in the movie. And the thing is that we talked about this earlier when we came from another place talking about social media and things like that, about how much we're seen all the time, that it's hard sometimes to disappear in a character. So anytime you get the opportunity to disappear in a character is wonderful.
I love it. Thank you, Harrison.
Thanks, Harrison.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
Thank you.
Kiefer, you're up. What's your next question?
Yes, Kiefer.
Well, my question is going to go to Marc. What do you enjoy most about directing since the last film?
There's a few things. I like, building the script that's actually, I think, the hardest part and not always super fun, honestly. But there are moments when you're shooting a scene with an actor where I stop being the director and I get to be a viewer and I get to have an emotional experience. That's always a good, when you get a case of the feels on set. That's really fun. I enjoy that, and it happens frequently. Not every day, but it happens frequently, and then I know something good is happening. Like that happened when we were doing. When Jamie and it was Dane's first day on set, and Dane, it was the fourth or fifth take, Dane just I remember Jamie noticed it, came alive. It was Han Solo stuff. It was really great. Or then when Peter and Gwen meet after not seeing each other for a year, there was this great, really warm feeling. And then doing the score, honestly, is and doing the music on the film is a really fun part of the process.
All right. Thanks, Kiefer. Josh, in the UK, what's your next question?
I've got a question for Jamie Foxx. Now, as you mentioned before, electricity never dies. It just goes to a different place. Now, if Electro will ever join the Sinister Six with other equally superpowered villains, how do you personally see him interacting with other members of the team?
Well, I don't run this whole thing, but I could sort of chime in a little bit. That, like I said, electricity just disappears. It'll be interesting to see, whatever the plot is, they got all of whatever they need to do, and they're gonna this big whatever that needs need some power, and then all of a sudden it, and then I appear with the new suit.
He has a script written.
Yeah, fresh off it. But you know what? Like I said, it's been floating out there. But if it does happen, I'll be more than happy to get in and do my thing.
Thank you. Great question. Dane, here's a question for you.
What is going on with Kid?
What's he doing?
Can we get KP back?
Where is he?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Kid President.
Nay.
Kid President.
Do you have music going on there?
I don't know what's going on.
Music's in his head. Yes.
It's in his head.
Music's in his head.
Oh yeah, move, KP.
The last awesome question.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
What is your dream for the world?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I want everyone to answer that. What's your dream for the world?
Oh my
Mark?
gosh.
I think this is a social media day today, and there is something I think really quite powerful. I don't think everybody's always going to agree, but I like the idea of everybody talking. Everybody's starting to communicate, like with Kid President in the center of everything. So if he's at the hub and everything kind of goes through Kid President, I think that would be a great idea. What do you think?
That's pretty good.
What?
My dream for the world.
He's not impressed, really.
No,
in fact.
it's all right.
My dream for the world. He's impressed. He's always impressed. My dream for the world is that we keep it alive and that we keep it going. We keep it spinning. We take care of it by just dancing, by keeping the dance going, the Kid President dance. That's going to keep the world rotating. And also, we got to figure out global warming.
Anyone else?
One of my favorite quotes, which is another piece of advice, is if you knew, and I'm going to be misquoting it because it's a hard one to remember how to say exactly, but if you knew anybody's story, you would love them. So to remember that we never know the full story from birth up of everyone that we meet, and that everyone's fighting a hard battle, and to be really kind to each other, and to stop bullying each other, stop shaming each other.
Preach.
And understand that I'm losing my train of thought with the clapping,
sorry.
but no, I feel really passionate about that. I think we all need to be really, really kind to each other because we're all going through a lot, no matter where we are, what gender we are, where we're from. We've got to be kind.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, you gotta be.
Guys?
Gotta be.
I think we covered it.
Dane, any last?
No, it's always really hard to go last. There's always really great things. But I will say that going back to doing this day in San Francisco with all this technology and stuff and playing Harry Osborn, I think that I'm a big proponent of finding ways to use technology to actually help us and for the greater good of things, and we have so many resources now and we have so much use for technology that we can find ways of using it to help the world. And I think that's a really important thing.
I think I got it. Greed. Get rid of greed. That's it.
Okay. Well, we're out of time. That's a great note to end on. I want to thank Kid President. I want to thank Harrison. And I want to thank Josh and Kiefer for helping out. And I want to thank Mark, Andrew, Emma, Jamie, and Dane for being here. Amazing Spider-Man 2 does come out on May 2nd. And you can get your tickets now on Fandango. And I really hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.
Kid President. I love that Kid President.